Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava.
Not to her mother, actually. She was born of the earth and appeared to her father, who, like his dear friend, like a brother to him, Nanda Maharaj, did not have any children until they were quite elderly. At which point, they each gave up their kingdom of Nandagram and Varsana to move to Raval and Gokul in faith that proximity with Jamuna would grant their desire for offspring. Srila Prabhupada told of the appearance of Srimati Radharani in a special way. She appears at different times, in different places, in the different days of Brahma. Srila Prabhupada told how King Vrishabhanu was plowing a field, which a king would do, considering the plow to be the emblem of Lord Vishnu's, you could say Lord Vishnu's avatar, but really the source of Lord Vishnu, Sri Baladev. Plowing the field, in preparation of sacrificial arena. And in the furrow, exactly the way Sita Devi, whose name means furrow, appeared, Srimati Radharani appeared. And as Srila Prabhupada tells, he took the baby home and delivered her to his wife. And said, "You see, we have received a very special baby girl." The common Brijabasi story, there's different versions of that as well, and they refer to the different millenniums. King Vrishabhanu went to bathe in Jamuna in the morning, and he saw an effulgent lotus in Jamuna's current, upon which an enchantingly beautiful baby girl was lying. And he was thinking how to reach this child when Brahma appeared, took her in his arms, and delivered her into the lap of King Vrishabhanu. and reminded him of his previous lives when he and Kirtida were Suchandra and Kalavati, who, in ardent yearning, performed tapasya for thousands and thousands of celestial years, an inconceivable earthly time, living on dry leaves that fell from the trees and without shelter from the elements. And when Lord Brahma appeared to ask what benediction they desired, they said that the Supreme Lord's eternal consort be born in a way that we can serve her as our serve and love her as a daughter. Everyone was very happy until they realized that this girl is not opening her eyes, nor is she articulating any sound. She barely even moves. And as time passed, they were more and more concerned about this. While Narada Muni, who had come to Gokul to have darshan of Sri Krishna, was very eager to find his consort, who must have appeared in a nearby village. When he came to Rava and was so reverentially received by all the Vrijavasis, he had one question. Has a baby girl recently been born? He came to King Vrishabhana's palace and asked him the same question. And King Vrishabhana said, I have a son. And he brought out Sri Dhamma, who was just the embodiment of such divine qualities and so humble and respectful and gracious. The Narada Muni was elated just to see him. And he told King Vrishabhana, you were most fortunate to have this son. He will be the best friend of Krishna and Balaram and bring them untold happiness. But then he felt a little empty and disappointed. And he turned to leave the palace. And King Vrishabhana told him, actually, I do have a daughter. I was reluctant to bring her to you because I didn't know if it's inauspicious. She doesn't seem to hear anything, or say anything, or see anything. And he asked to have admitted into her room. And King Vrishabhana was astonished that Narada Muni fell prostrate before the baby girl and began offering the most eloquent and reverential prayers. And then he asked King Vrishabhana to be all alone with his daughter. The king didn't understand, but he had faith, so he left the room. And Narada Muni was wondering, what will this girl be like when she is with Krishna? And for just an instant, she revealed her Kaishori form with her girlfriends. And then Vishaka, who was also born today at the exact same time as Radha, told him, this Kaishori form is very fleeting. It will only last for an instant. But if you meet us at midnight at Kusham Sarovara, your desire to see this eternal form will be fulfilled. And Narada Muni, after taking shelter of Vrindadevi and following her instructions in Mansarovara, attained a gopi body and was named Naradiya, in which he could actually enter into those pastimes of Radha and Krishna in another form. The baby was charming and enchanting to all the residents of Vrindhavan, especially to her father, because Kirtida had a little more affection for Sri Dhamma than she did for her daughter. King Vrishabhanu had more affection for his daughter than his son. And his name is often mentioned in songs glorifying her, because just as when Krishna would return to the palace, he would run first to Mother Yashoda's arms, and then to Nanda Maharaj. But Radha would go first to her father, and then to her mother, because of the stronger bond of affection. And when she reached about 3 years of age, by that time she had a whole section in the palace courtyard where there was a temple of Krishna and a deity, and she would direct all her little girlfriends, who were 2 and 3 years old at the time, how to cook for Krishna and dress him and put him to sleep and wake him up, and 24 hours a day they were absorbed. And this was so enchanting to the residents of Raval. And one day, the exceedingly intimidating form of Durvasa Muni appeared. And everyone ran and hid, with the exception of 3-year-old Radha and her 2-year-old sister. And they approached the sage and so affectionately and reverentially bowed down to him and welcomed him, swagatam. And Durvasa Muni was so enchanted by the very demure and mature demeanor of this girl. And he had been throughout creation, and even as Narada testified, I've seen Parvati, daughter of the Himalayas. I've seen Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. I've even seen Mohini Murti, none of whose beauty and charm can approach even the shadow of this girl. So Durvasa Muni was so enchanted, and the Brijabasis were peeking out from their hiding places to see what would happen when the daughter of their village came face to face with Durvasa Muni. And they were elated to see that his fearful form was as if melting in a kind of parental affection. And when she asked, "How can I serve you?" he said, the dialogue is very much like Durvasa Muni coming to Ambarish Maharaj. Today is Dwadasi, and to complete my Ekadasi fast, I need to take prasadam by a certain time, which was not very far off. I would like for you to serve me the remnants of what you offer to Krishna. And he asked, "Little Radha, are you an attentive housewife?" And she said, "No, I'm not married. But I do train my girlfriends to be very attentive in serving Krishna's pleasure." So he said, "I would like for you to serve me Krishna's remnants, so I can discern your skill in the culinary arts." And she said, "So be it." And she ran off and told her mother, "I'm cooking for Durvasa Muni." And Kirtida, knowing that if he is in any way just the slightest bit displeased, it could destroy their whole dynasty. She said, "Radha, I'll cook. You can help." She was stroking her hair, And then she saw that look on her face. She told her mother, he asked for me to cook. And you can assist me. And she already knew by that time that when she has that look on her face, don't even try to reason with her. Just accept and serve her. So they took a little bench and put it in front of the stove, and she climbed up on that so that she could reach the bowl. And her mother and her attendants were bringing all the ingredients. And she cooked. And then she took the sweet rice into her little temple and offered it to Krishna. And Durvasa Muni is watching, enchanted. I have never seen such graceful movements. I have never heard such eloquent prayers, composed in her own spontaneous, innocent vocabulary. And then she transferred the prasad into a clay pot, and as she approached Durvasa Muni, and the fragrance reached him, tears welled up in his eyes. And he began to tremble, feeling a form of ecstatic love for Krishna which he had never experienced before. And since it was just time to break his fast, he tasted that sweet ice. And when the ambrosial influence from another dimension surged in waves of ecstasy throughout his whole body, his vision of the future unfolded into the upcoming pastimes of Braj Leela, in which he would have a very significant role to play. So he blessed her accordingly. That he transfer half the merits of all his tapasya to her, along with the blessing that whoever tasted her cooking would be free from disease or defeat or any kind of misfortune. And then he vanished from the scene. And when news got around of his benediction upon Radha, because Kirtida and Jashoda were such dear friends, and they had already known, because at this time Krishna was 4 years of age, and they knew that every day ferocious Rakshasas were coming to Braj. And somehow, miraculously, Krishna was protecting the Brajavasis. So in that very conservative culture, no girl who is not betrothed to a certain boy would be allowed to cook for him. But everyone unanimously agreed that she will have to cook for Krishna every day. Not only so that Krishna would be free from disease or defeat or ill fortune, but they knew that he was the one protecting them from all these ferocious demons. So they were very happy to make an exception to the rigid social structure that she would be facilitated in cooking for Krishna every day. And the glories, and Durvasa Muni, he said, as long as the world turns, this benediction will continue. So 4,500 years later, in Braj, when, under the inspiration of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who had dispatched the Goswamis, along with Parmananda Bhattacharya and Madhu Pandit and others, delegating them to find those lost deities that Vajranab installed, Krishna's great-grandson, and establish temples for them, and teach the world how to worship Krishna. And eventually, Sanatana Goswami, he saw this beautiful cowherd boy playing with his friends. And you know the story, how Madan Mohan appeared to Sanatana Goswami. And Govinda appeared to Rupa Goswami. Gopinath appeared to Parmananda and Madhu Pandits, along with a little consort. But news reached Jagannath Puri of what is occurring in Braj. And King Prataparudra's very saintly son, Purushottamajana, was concerned that none of these deities in Braj have a consort, except Gopinath, whose consort was not actually Srimati Radharani. So he sent deities of Srimati Radharani to accompany the recently reappeared Madan Mohan and Govinda. And when the two deities arrived with great fanfare at Madan Mohan Mandir, Madan Mohan's Pujari had a dream. And he told the Pujari, the sender does not know that these two deities are not both Radha. One is Radha, the other is Lalita. So place them on my either side, which they did, to the great joy of all the devotees of Madan Mohan, who when word came back to Purushottamajana, he was happy, but he was determined to find a consort for Sri Govinda. But by the Lord's arrangement, search as he might, he could not find a deity of the appropriate size and nature to be on the altar with Govinda. And he was in great anxiety. Until one night he had a dream. Srimati Radharani appeared to him. He said, I'm actually here. I'm in Jagannath's temple. But I'm not Radha. People have mistaken me to be Lakshmi, worship me accordingly, and to fulfill their desires, I assumed that form. I'm not Lakshmi. I don't belong in Puri. I belong with Govinda in Braj. And he arranged for the deity to be sent. But how did Srimati Radharani come to Jagannath's temple in Orissa? It was about the time that Sakshi Gopal, left Vrindaban and walked to the south to testify for his devotee about the vow taken in Braj. Srimati Radharani also left Braj and took up residence in Orissa, in a town named after her, Radhanagar, where she was worshipped by a South Indian devotee of exceptional saintly qualities, who served her with the love and devotion he would the most exalted daughter. This devotee's name was, what was his name? Brihad Banu. And he had so much affection for his little daughter that if she passed out of his sight for even a moment, he would feel the creation to be empty. And he worshipped her until the day he departed for Goloka Vrindavan. And then there was great concern in Radhanagar, which spread throughout Orissa, reaching Purushottamajana. Or the king of Puri at the time. And the king came to Radhanagar to investigate the situation and try to find a solution. Who could he, as the king of that land, in whose care could he place this deity of Srimati Radharani, where she would be worshipped with the kind of affection that she was by Brihad Banu? who loved and served her as a daughter. He had no idea how that worship could continue. So she appeared to him, Srimati Radharani appeared to the king in his dreams. Just take me to Jagannath's temple for now and place me with Jagannath, which he did. But as time passed, they forgot that was Radha, assumed she was Lakshmi, and she reciprocated accordingly. But now the time had come, and she told Purushottama Jana, send me to Vrindaban to be with my consort. And then, when Janava Devi came to Vrindaban and would sit on the shore of Radhakund, gazing into the heart of Radhakund, where in her ontological form as Ananda Manjari she lives forever, in a lotus kunj connected by a bejeweled causeway to the shore, right next to Raghunath Das Goswami's samadhi. And Janava Devi came to Radhakund and heard that most enchanting song of the flute, and looked and saw the form of Gopinath. And she actually established the temple of Radha Gopinath at Radhakund. But she was thinking that she had darshan of the Gopinath deity with this little consort, that this consort's too small. And she didn't tell anybody. And in her dream that night, Gopinath came to her and she said, "You're right, my consort is too small." And she didn't take it too seriously until Srimati Radharani appeared and said, "He's right, I am too small." So then she instructed her Stapati disciple to carve a larger Radha, which was received with great jubilation to be placed on Gopinath's left. But then Gopinath appeared to his pujari and said, "Place the larger one on my right. Place the little one on my left." And when Janava Devi departed this world, she entered into who? The little one. So why does Radha at Radha Gopinath Mandir, the only place she is worshipped on Krishna's right side, it is in honor of the love of her little sister, to grant her her own privileged position on Krishna's left. She wants to give that to her little sister, Radha Manjari, and Radha moves to Gopinath's right. And such is the nature of Srimati Radharani, that when all the devotees of Braj, devotees everywhere, they make all arrangements to please Krishna through Srimati Radharani. Always making all arrangements to unite Radha and Krishna. What is she doing? She is making arrangements to push others to Krishna. Here at Radhakund, where Raghunath Das Goswami spent the last 50 years of his life, so devoted to Radhakund that he would pray to her and she would answer. He would pray, "Shri Sarovara," Radha's lake, "please reveal to me your presiding goddess who sports with Krishna on your shore." And he Raghunath Das Goswami, the very epitome of that determination which the devotees seek to emulate. Radhakund would answer him. And even when he was most fervent in his prayers to Srimati Radharani, I am yours. I cannot live without you. And beg Radhakund, please reveal not these fleeting darshans that I've experienced all my life, but grant me eternal residence, eternal admittance into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, to never experience that separation. And Radhakund would answer, you have to be patient for the fruit on your desire tree of devotion to ripen. And he'd say, no, I can't wait any longer. And then he would understand, I have to make my appeal to Vishaka. And he prayed to Vishaka, who was born at the same moment as Radha in a neighboring village, endowed with very similar qualities as her. In 1965, as America and the rest of the Western world lay in the dark, deep slumber of ignorance, very content in the lap of the witch Maya, and the sunlight, or the, you could say, moonlight of the benediction moon of Lord Gauranga's grace had not yet reached until September of 1965, when from the mid-Atlantic, on a small, dark, weather-beaten cargo ship, one lone voice offering prayers and composing in his poetry, which is a prayer to Lord Krishna, in which the refrain is, I emphatically say unto you, O brothers, you will attain your good fortune from the Supreme Lord Krishna only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. It was just a few days after Radhashtami. And then by 1968, Srila Prabhupada was speaking the glories of Srimati Radharani. And he said, don't try to approach Krishna directly. You'll be the loser. Make your offering to Srimati Radharani with the appeal. Remember me to your Lord Krishna. Krishna is yours. He is not independent. When we chant the Mahamantra, Hare means Radhe. The thief, Hari, is the thief named Krishna. Hara is the thief who steals his heart. And Hare is the vocative form. Oh Radha, this is a desperate plea from a penitent heart for the grace and benediction of Krishna's service. So Srila Prabhupada said, if you offer a flower, don't offer it to Krishna. Place it in the hand of Srimati Radha with the prayer that you offer this to Krishna. And she said, oh, you have brought him a flower? Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Yome Bhakti Prayachati. And she offers it to Krishna, and she tells Krishna, this devotee is very nice. It's better than me. So please accept him. Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna has to accept. Because he's controlled by the love. That's Srila Prabhupada's very simple and devotional introduction to Radhashtami. And it is the most profound spiritual truth worshipped by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took his disciples to Radhakund on parikrama, and they saw this very cultured family from Bharatpur, the devotees, doing Dandavat parikrama of the entire Radhakund region. And Paramananda Brahmachari approached Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, said, these devotees have so much devotion, doing Dandavat parikrama of the entire Radhakund region. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was clearly impressed by their bhakti. And he made a comment. Their angle of vision is different than ours. They are devotees of Krishna, and they revere Radha as his most beloved. And then he said what Srila Prabhupada basically repeated. We are more concerned with Srimati Radharani. Srila Prabhupada said that. That's verbatim. Our business is Srimati Radharani. We worship Krishna through her. Why? Going back another generation to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who sings in his Radhashtami. He who has failed to most carefully worship the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, who has failed to take shelter in the most holy abode of Braj, which is decorated with that golden lotus named Radha. If one has been unable to associate with the devotees of Srimati Radharani, who are very wise, in whose devotion is deep, how could such a person ever enter into the ecstasy of Lord Krishna's devotional mellows? And he says, or he sings, please understand this truth with attention. Srimati Radharani is the exemplary guru of Madhurya Ras. The love in the exchange between Radha and Krishna is the supreme truth to be contemplated and discussed. He who carefully cherishes the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani naturally attains Krishna. Without her grace, no one can attain Krishna. The Vedic scriptures sing that Srimati Radharani that Krishna is the property of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, abandoning wealth and followers, sons, friends, relatives, material association, and intellectual pursuits, one should simply absorb himself in the sweetness of service to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. This is Srila Bhaktivinoda's solemn declaration. Radhakund was a favorite place for those devotees of Srimati Radharani who were manjaris in her entourage, who became the Goswamis in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Raghunath Das Goswami would not leave the shore of Radhakund. Whether that resonance brought him the heights of ecstasy or the depths of misery, he couldn't leave. Rupa Goswami lived nearby Terkadamba, under that desire tree, which, when he wrote of the separation of Radha and Krishna, the tree would shed its flowers just like a devotee, crying, shedding tears. And then when he would write the union of Radha and Krishna, the tree would just burst into bloom, fresh flowers. And he would come and visit Raghunath Das Goswami And one day when he came, at night actually, he saw across the Kun something he'd never seen before, and he couldn't imagine how he would have missed, because it was effulgent, such an outstanding landmark. It was a beautiful lotus-shaped swing with two seats facing each other. And then he heard the sweetest songs of celestial voices heralding the approach of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. And they appeared with Srimati's girlfriends. Now, he's having this darshan at night, but what he's seeing is midday, when Radha and Krishna would meet at Radha Kund. And Krishna said, "It's really hot today." He says to Radha, "Wouldn't you enjoy that nice breeze of the wind, of the cooling breeze of Radha Kund as we swing?" Krishna said, "Krishna, I know the way you swing, and it's not pleasing to me at all. You go too high, and it scares me. So you can swing, and I'll stay here with my friends, and we will push you." Now, usually, Srimati Radharani's associates support her in her whatever conflicts with Krishna. But this day, they all supported Krishna. And he promised, "I won't go too high." And she said, "No, I don't believe you." And the gopis said, "What's wrong with you? Just go with him. We'll be the ones pushing the swing, and we'll make sure that it's only pleasing to you and it doesn't go too high." And she kept refusing, and they kept insisting. And then finally, to please her friends and maidservants, which is a lesson to all of us, especially on this day. If you really want to please her, then serve her servants, which is the highest aspiration of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, to become servant to the maidservant of the friends of Srimati Radha. So, to testify the truth of what delights her more than anything, she had to submit, to get on the swing. And as the gopis sang sweet songs of Krishna's heroic deeds, and they pushed the swing so gently, and Srimati Radharani began to relax. This is actually very pleasing and soothing. And when she became very confident and began to trust Krishna a little bit, the swing started going higher. And Rupa Goswami is watching this. And as the swing went higher and higher, she said, "Krishna, you promised. I'm afraid." And the gopis were chastising Krishna from the ground below as the swing goes higher and higher and higher. And when it would go to a certain height, the ropes would go slack, and it would come down so fast, which would make it go higher on the other side. And when it reached almost a vertical position, and Srimati Radharani threw herself into Krishna's arms and pleaded, "Protect me," that little additional force, centrifugal force, pushed the swing over the top. And Krishna found it very delightful to look at Radha Kund upside down from an aerial view. And he also delighted in having Srimati Radharani so tightly embracing him. And then when the vision faded, and it was once again nighttime in Radha Kund, Swami turned back to that Imlital, and you can see today that twin cherry tree still has a golden luster to it, testifying to Krishna's swinging pastimes. So Srila Prabhupada concluded his Radhashtami lectures in the late 60s, that worship Srimati Radharani very nicely and be happy. And because she is the Supreme Mother, Devi Krishna Mayi Prokta Radhika Padadevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanti Sanmahini Para. Srimati Radharani is the tender-hearted feminine counterpart to Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure of all the goddesses of fortune. She alone surpasses the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive Sri Krishna, who alone can attract our hearts away from Madan, Cupid, mundane, lusty bondage. She is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. She is the transformation of Krishna's love, the embodiment of his kindness, the perfection of his grace, and the only means by which we can attain to him. And Srila Prabhupada taught us how to approach Srimati Radharani. Jagannatha, Supreme Mother, Mother of Devotion. And he said that because she's a mother, she doesn't like to see her devotees fast all day. And to please her, we honor her feast this afternoon when she appeared in this world. When Srila Prabhupada was a little child, his father, a pure Vaishnava, Gormohan Dey, would invite sadhus, even though some of them weren't really sadhus. Anyone who looked like a sadhu, he would invite him to his house and feed them sumptuously and serve them so affectionately. And he would ask only one thing of them. Please bless my son, that he become a good devotee of Srimati Radharani, and that she showers her blessings upon him. And those blessings fructified in the supreme kindness, compassion of Srimati Radharani, which approached Western shores at this time in 1965, proclaimed by that refrain, "O brothers, you will attain your good fortune from the Supreme Lord Krishna only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you." Today, we showered the Lord's flower petals, symbolizing the delicate affection of our hearts. Radha Kund embodies the reciprocation of our devotion. On the appearance days of Radha and Krishna, we shower them with Abhishek, Pushpa Abhisheka, signifying the affections of our hearts. What sustains us and nourishes us and encourages us and inspires us to continue and expand our devotion over the years is experiencing the reciprocation from Radha and Krishna. As devotees cherish the opportunity of appearance days of Radha and Krishna to shower them in Abhishek, Radha and Krishna cherish the opportunity of bathing their devotees in the nectar of their prem contained in their bathing ponds, Radha Kund, Shama Kund. But since today we showered them in flower petals, to experience their divine reciprocation, we have to step over to Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir. Kirtan, please.
It's not ready. So he's
We will. We will first circumambulate Radha Kund, and then
Get
experience.
Mike Maharaj.
What?
They want you. Mike.
We will first circumambulate Radha Kund with Nam Sankirtan,
Push mic.
Mike.
after which
Say it again, the whole thing.
I'm hearing these voices from the trees. But the voice said, what did the voice say? Oh, we will circumambulate Radha Kund first, which is the fluid form of Srimati Radharani. And then we will experience Radha Gopinath's loving reciprocation from our Pushpa Abhisheka. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
The other day, your husband was walking, at the school, and he came into my room, and I thought, oh my God.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Gopinath ki
Jai.
Shri Shri Radhe.
So, His Holiness Varsana Swami, his dedication to his spiritual master, to establish truly New Vrindaban as a replica of Vrindaban, with the establishment of 7 temples. He has taken it upon himself to manifest this great instruction and vision of Srila Prabhupada. And he carries Radha and Krishna in his heart, and he's distributing it to us through his kata, through his association, and now through the physical manifestation of this little dham within the dham. You all notice something special up here? Do you all notice something special up here?
Haribo!
So, we are working together with Maharaj, a handful of us. We want to increase the circle. We want to give some honor to Akhilananda Prabhu, Prabhupada's dear disciple, standing in the back here. Haribo! He is doing the arduous service of stuccoing the dome and engaging devotees. I don't know which is more difficult, stuccoing the dome or engaging the devotees, but as part of the process for finishing this beautiful temple, there's other devotees who are helping behind the scenes, and we invite all to participate in this creation of this holy dham. Speak to Maharaj, speak to myself, or Nam Kirti. We have a small committee, coordinating committee, trying to coordinate devotees' energies to assist in this manifestation of Srila Prabhupada's desire. So on this auspicious day, we are simply begging for the mercy of the devotees to bless this project so that we can please our Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki Jai. His Holiness Varsana Swami ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.